Hey, radical people, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Ariana Howard. I am the creator of Radical Learning Spaces, a training series designed for all the adults who support children. I also support families who have children struggling with academics and behavior. Please like and subscribe because your support helps to keep this channel going. Now, let's get to the reason you clicked on this video. Teaching ain't as easy as you thought, huh? As school buildings closed across the country, caregivers, parents, guardians, cousins, older brothers and sisters were called upon to be teachers. And we now have just a glimpse into the world of teachers and just a snippet of understanding of the daily stress that they endure educating our kiddos. So I want to talk with you, parents, caregivers, guardians, and I also want to support and affirm you, educators, about the experience of teaching. In this video, we'll talk about something called teacher burnout. Now, you, as a suddenly teacher, may experience these symptoms. So, as we move through this conversation, check in with yourself and see if teacher burnout is a thing for you. We'll talk about ways we can support teachers, and we'll also talk about ways we can support ourselves. Are you ready to get started? I know I am. All right, let's go. So, the first idea or experience of teacher burnout is something called compassion fatigue. Now, another name for this is the cost of caring. Another name is secondary trauma. Okay. Now, this experience is cumulative. Excuse me. So, year after year, simply serving and being in the space with those who have experienced trauma affects us as educators, right? And that effect becomes more compounded year after year after year. Here are some symptoms of compassion fatigue. If you're an educator, check in with yourself. See if you experience some of these. I know for me, when I was in the classroom, overeating and overdrinking was an issue for me. And worried that I wasn't doing enough was an issue for me. What about some of these behaviors? Hmm? Now remember, this experience of compassion fatigue is the result of serving people who experience trauma. Okay. Another aspect of teacher burnout is isolation and overwhelm. Okay. As educators, we have lots and lots of things that we have to maintain in terms of accountability. We have all sorts of student reports, classroom reports, testing reports that we have to maintain in order to basically legitimize our teaching and show that what we're doing is effective. And in spite of these high measures of accountability, we often have low support. We are expected to wear many hats. We're not just lesson planning families. We are chaperoning dances. We are helping with bus duty. We are planning incentive parties for students who follow directions. We're wearing all sorts of hats all the time. And we often get mixed messages about self-care. The conversation in buildings will be like, take care of yourself, self-care, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. But the support and structure of the day doesn't allow for us to do so. To my educators watching, how many of you have gone at least 2 days out of the school year without using the restroom and without eating? Some of you are like, I do that like twice a week, Dr. Howard. Yes, we received mixed messages about self-care. And teaching can be very lonely. Once that bell rings, we close our doors. It's just us with a whole bunch of kiddos. We seldom spend lots of time with other adults our age. It can be very lonely. And here are some current teaching conditions. Nearly 1/3 of new teachers leave in the first 5 years. 1/3. Here are some reasons why. Lack of resources, low pay, Nasty political environment. This idea of not being allowed to fail students. Whoa, that was a huge one for me. Poor preparation, too much emphasis on testing, and too much teaching to the test. My educators are in the back like, yes, amen, I feel those reasons. Nearly 1/3 of teachers leave in the first 5 years for these reasons. Here's another current teaching condition. Students who are the furthest behind are taught by the least experienced teachers. Now, lots of studies have been conducted to confirm this statement here. So the teachers with the least experience, the least preparation, are often given those students who struggle the most. And here are the results. Those students have lower test scores, lower grades, and higher suspension and absence rates. And that's part of the reason why I do the work that I do, to help those teachers feel experienced and confident to support those students. Yet and still, despite compassion fatigue, despite isolation and overwhelm, despite all of the many reasons that teachers feel the pressure and want to leave, they still support your kiddos. They love them. They cheer them on. They root for them. They stress at night at home over ways that they can more actively engage students. They're still there day after day after day. So, how can we support them? And how can we support you? How can you take care of yourself now that you are an educator? Supporting teachers with empathy and patience, right? The school year will be ending this week for many students, but it is not the end for our educators. They still have to finish grading. They have tons of meetings. Some teachers have to worry about license renewal. They'll be taking courses over the summer. And there is the stress and uncertainty about next year. Okay, so in our communication with teachers, as we wrap things up for the school year, let's respond with empathy and patience. Let's also make sure that our communication is clear and consistent. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that our brains are under stress right now during this pandemic. And that means that parts of our brain, the smart parts that we need to think and remember and process, they're struggling to work now. So if we can be empathetic, patient, clear, and consistent, we can help our educators finish the year strong. Now, how can we support ourselves? If you find yourself supporting your student as they wrap up these final weeks of education, here is the easy way that you can support yourself. Breathing. Breathing provides oxygen to our brain, which allows it to open up and function at its best. Always remember to take care of you first. You ain't no good for nobody else if you don't take care of yourself first. Small, tolerable doses. I was supporting a student yesterday on a final assignment, and I could see how much work that assignment required, but I only had the student focus on one section at a time. We completed the assignment in small, tolerable doses, took breaks, joked, talked about what summer would look like, and we returned to the assignment. And he was able to knock that thing out of the park. Do the same for yourself. Small, tolerable doses. And go outside. We're allowed to go outside, yes? Even if we're not allowed to go outside, go outside. The sun is so good for your body. The wind, the birds, the air, the grass. Go outside. All right. I'm off my soapbox. We're going to wrap it up and get on out of here. Studies do is pick one thing to try. Okay? What is one thing you remember from our time together today that you can try? And do that thing. It will make a difference exponentially. If you got to this end of this video and you're like, Dr. Howard, you are the bomb, girl. How can I learn more? Here are ways to learn more. There are courses on my website, The link is in the description box below. Courses for you to choose from. I'm also available for coaching and consulting. With everything being virtual now, I am just a click away. And as a bonus for making it to the end of this video, you will get free access to my specially curated resource list for families, for educators, about trauma, about culturally responsive teaching, about compassion fatigue. All sorts of goodies are there. The link to the description is below. Now, if you also got to the end of this video and you're like, oh, this is good, please share. I believe that we can fundamentally affect the nature of education, and we can do so when we share good content. Oh my gosh, sorry about that loud sound. Now, if you have questions, if you want support, if you just want to connect, please reach out. I love to connect with people. My social media information is there. All right. Be great. Be the change you want to see. Be a radical person.